We're back with an episode of Two Straws. We've been under construction, as you can see, but it was worth the wait because we'd like to introduce you to our new fancy podcast studio.
Yeah, it's called Bar Straws.
Hey!
Welcome to the studio. We've been out for a bit. We've been doing a lot.
Life stuff.
A lot of life happened in between this show and the last one. I had a fight. You went to Australia.
Yes.
You became a mogul in the San Diego real estate scene.
I have been building up my business.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make the best out of my foot injury. I don't really talk about stuff like that because I'm just kind of a private personal person, but my foot's been broken. I got a little limp in my giddy up. So I have not been able to train at all, but I've been making the best out of it by just focusing on building a business from scratch. And so if you're looking for a house, looking to buy, sell, invest, call me. I'm a girl.
If you're rich and you can afford a house in San Diego,
proof of funds,
call her up.
Proof of funds.
Yeah. No.
I only accept proof of funds, and then we can talk.
Yeah. Don't come over here with your, I don't know, with your GameStop paycheck.
It's
not going to work.
It's not just that, but I've had a lot of fun with trolls.
Oh, really?
Yeah. People saying that they're interested, and then they're just really interested in hanging out with me and meeting me, which I am so flattered. I am so flattered, but that's not what I'm about right now.
Have you gotten to the point where you're like showing a house and then
I've actually
No. Okay, all right. You have to elaborate.
No. It was actually I found somebody found me. They reached out to me, and they answered all the questions. We had our Zoom meeting and showed proof of funds. I was a little sus on the proof of funds, but I'm like, you know what? It's proof of funds. Okay.
What was the proof? What was it like?
Just, a picture, bank statement, just money that is in the account.
Yeah. It was crypto. Like, I don't know if this Doge is worth a lot right now.
I know. And then so I ended up speaking to the guy, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'll give him a shot. He sent proof of funds. Why not? We'll see where this goes. At the very least, it'll make for a great story.
He thought you meant proof of fun. Like, yeah, girl. This is what you can have.
Yeah, so I ended up finding a couple properties, and then, they didn't work out because he said he was, traveling, and he also was looking at other houses with other agents. And I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. So, some red flags just started popping up. So I started asking more in-depth questions, and he just wasn't willing to share any information with me, like normal, casual, real estate talk.
Yeah.
And he said he had a bunch of properties, and he was like a frequent, traveler and business guy. And I'm just like, okay. And then he asked me to start sending stuff to his assistant. I was like, listen, would you be willing to sign, just an exclusive? And it's just a single party agreement that says if I bring you this property that you will owe me a commission if it ends up going through, because I'm not going to be showing somebody a property and then him take it to another agent.
Right.
Just
it's a waste of your time.
Yeah, it is. And he just wouldn't do it. So it all kind of fell apart. So I never ended up following through. I haven't heard from him since. So luckily I didn't, drive all the way up to Orange County to meet him at these properties to show him.
Okay.
I went with my gut.
So I thought you meant that you had a guy that just wanted to hang out with you because you're Jessica Penne, and you got to show them the house, and they were like...
No, I stopped it before that happened. I listened to my gut. I stopped it before it happened.
Okay, I was worried.
I am not driving all the way up to Orange County. I mean, I love going up to Orange County. I'm from Orange County. It's not that far of a drive. Love visiting, but I'm not going to drive all the way up there,
See, what you need is one of those big buff blue belt bouncers, like blue belt assistants that can be like your assistant / bodyguard, just in case you get a weirdo out there. Because, showing houses, it's a very intimate thing, you know?
That's why I have my CCW.
Yeah, there you go. Don't fuck with her. If you know, you know.
No, but it did remind me, like that kind of situation reminded me when I was doing, I did a seminar for real estate agents self-defense seminar, just, being aware, just learning some, good techniques and stuff like that, because showing houses, doing open houses, being an agent, you're really vulnerable.
You are, especially if no one's there, it's you're just opening the door. Like anyone
off the street can walk in. So it's really important to protect yourself. So I think I'm going to bring that back, actually.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a really, just important, valuable thing. Self-defense and, just awareness are key things to survival.
You should make them all train in their power suits, like in their business.
I did. Oh my God. Sorry. I got really excited.
You thought you were at a bar.
I did. It's a little bit more delicate than that. Okay. No more big move. I need to start punching things. It's been a few months since I've actually gotten to hit something.
Yeah.
Getting a little pent up.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to kick things. You could just punch it. No, don't pivot on the broken foot.
Well, that would get frustrating.
Yeah.
That's what was getting frustrating. I was just trying to do pocket punching. I'm like, I can't.
It's boring.
I cannot. Yeah.
Anyways, well, that's fun.
Just been focusing on that. Yeah, it's been really good. It's always important to just do what I can with what I have, and this is get to focus on something else and improve skills on something else.
Exactly. That's the best way mentally to just like keep yourself, I don't know, not overwhelmed when you have too much time off, like because you have to be off. You're injured. For me, I had to take some time off to like rest my head. And it's just frustrating because there's so many things that can aggravate, like if you had a concussion or if you had like any type of brain trauma, just hitting a bag can aggravate it. So I had to spend a lot of time playing video games.
It's mental training.
It is.
Reflexes,
without
stimulation.
Without the shaking, unless, I throw my controller, which happened a couple times, but I kept it to the more calming, video games like Zelda. I played the new Zelda. And, it was fun. I got all the way to the end. It was like a adventure game / puzzle game. Fun. So if you're really into figuring out puzzles, it's kind of weird because you have so many different ways to solve these puzzles and to defeat these bosses. Like it gives you all these random tools that you never had in a video game. Like you could literally build a house and then put wheels on it and then drive it into someone. Like it's really random. It's so cool. But like I always, whenever I meet someone with a kid who has a Switch, I'm like, yo, if your kid's really creative, have them play that game, because it's just going to open their mind.
That's so cool.
It's really cool. So I enjoyed playing that, and now me and Adam are playing Diablo. So that's a good like stoner game. Just get high and smash buttons. And and it's good. It's good to just take a seat back and relax and try not to think about all the things you did wrong.
Oh, honey, we've all been there. Wait,
hold on. I didn't.
I mean,
talk about Australia.
I mean, I have those moments after I send a risky text message. I just all of a sudden in remorse. I'm like, why did I do that?
You wake up in the middle of the night.
What did I do? I have
the winky face?
Why? You're so stupid.
Why are you so thirsty? It makes it so thirsty now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I am though. I'm gonna have a sip right now.
Yes. Thirst quenches all.
Yes.
When it's a gin and tonic.
Love the gin and tonic. It tastes better when it's in a tiki mug too.
Yeah, it's more tropical.
It is. Puts you in the mood, in the beachy vibes. I actually went to the beach for the first time since like ever. And it was sunny and wonderful. I got slightly burned because I'm very
You
pale.
do look a little more bronzed today.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yeah, good job.
Yes, thank you very much. So Australia was amazing, severely jet lagged though. I was really good on the way over there. I took off at night, popped a sleeping pill, woke up, and it was 4 a.m. Aussie time. Got my breakfast, hit the ground running. We went to an alpaca and wine tasting experience.
Oh wow!
For those of you guys who don't know, sorry, I'm just talking like you guys know what's going on. But our Tough 20 bestie Beck Rodriguez, now formerly Rollins, hosted me.
Nice.
And I got to stay with her and her family, and she just like went into super mom planning, like bestie mode. And
Nice.
we had a full itinerary, and I've been to Australia, multiple times and stayed with her for a long amount of time. And,
Yeah.
you know, we just kind of play it by ear, but we were on a strict schedule this time.
Nice.
We had the alpaca and wine tasting experience. We were supposed to do this like zip line obstacle course, but my foot's, you know, still on the mend. So we decided to drop that. We went to two amazing, like decadent, crazy 10-course dining experience restaurants. Amazing.
Did they serve alligator or
No,
kangaroo?
it was nothing like that. They actually, we couldn't find a place. The last time we were there, we tried to find a place that did that, but they don't
like
do that.
Aussie stuff or
Yeah.
forbidden animals?
Yeah, they didn't do that. They actually, if you want to try that, you go to Lion Share in downtown San Diego. They have all sorts of exotic meats. I'm actually going to go there next week. I've planned a little
Oh
date
no!
night
What are
from
you
a
gonna
sale.
eat?
I don't know what's on the menu right now. I know, but I get over it.
Yeah, you're like, this monkey brain is delicious. I don't care that they're so closely related to me genetically. It's gonna be human.
Listen, food chain. Whoa! Although that is a thing I've heard in LA. There's supposedly some like underground. Yeah, right. So my brother is in the restaurant biz. He works at like really incredible fine dining restaurants, and I asked him, I was like, "Yo, Pooks, do you know about any places that are doing like this cannibalism experience?" And he's like, "No." I'm like, "Will you let me know?" He's like, "Jay, that's how scary movies start, and I'm not even getting involved in that."
I'm not even gonna Google it.
Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, fair point.
That's so funny. Have you seen that movie? There's a movie, I forget the name of it, but basically this girl meets this guy, and then
Fresh.
yes. I don't want to ruin it.
You know, I love a twisted, scary movie.
Dude, it was good.
It was really good.
It was so good. And it was like, I don't know, like hipstery, I guess. It was just like just enough of wit to it.
It was a little indie.
It was
like
indie
a little
and it was
slow,
witty.
A little dry, but
Yeah.
witty and edgy at the same time.
Like I love the humor in it. I love like the initial first date that the girl was on. Like it was so my movie.
Yeah, it was pretty twisted. I liked it.
So you'd be one of the people getting deliveries at Lion's Den.
Better me getting the deliveries than the other way around.
Man, they would pay a lot for one of your flanks. I would just say, I would just put it up there. You better be careful. Better be careful with that karma going to Lion's Den. You better eat something that's not that exotic.
I mean, they don't do crazy exotic stuff, but more exotic than what's common, I guess.
Yeah. So like a turtle.
I don't think there's enough meat in a turtle.
There's
But
like
they'll
turtle
do frog.
soup.
They'll do like
Okay.
frog. I think they had like camel at one point. I felt a little weird about that. I mean, I still have a heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just
camel
some
heart.
things. I'll take you with me, I guess. Try some camel heart tacos.
Yeah, I'm talking shit, but I would be the first one ordering everything off the menu. Like I gotta try it.
You gotta try.
We're here.
You know, we got this life to live, and we're gonna make the best out of it.
Exactly, and they're already dead, so might as well make their life or their death.
Yeah,
meaningful.
honor them. We have to honor
My
them.
stomach.
Yes, exactly. Appreciate them.
Anyway, we should talk about some fights, huh?
We should. I mean, I could talk about Australian animals all day, but yeah, let's get into it. So I think we should start out with Aljamain Sterling versus Henry Cejudo.
Yeah.
It was his Cejudo's first fight back in about 3 years, and he's he still looked good, but Aljamain Sterling he looked better.
Yeah.
He had a great game plan. He's just really picked up a lot of momentum. He sticks to his game plan. He does what he does well, and he was really impressive in it.
Yeah.
And hats off to Henry Cejudo for just like stepping up and getting into the mix right away, and getting after it the way that he did. That's a really steep division, and Aljamain Sterling's a great champion, and for him to get that opportunity and take it, and I thought it was great.
I thought the fight was really close. I remember watching it and thinking, shit, I don't know how they're going to score it. And then the rounds that I thought were for sure Aljamain's, a couple of them ended up going to Cejudo. So I thought he really lucked out in the end, because the last round, I remember Cejudo just had this like big surge back, and I'm like, he might have stolen it with that last round, but we'll see what happened. And the judges scored that round for Aljo. So I was like, yo, like that's crazy. But ultimately, I felt like the person who was supposed to win won. You know, his performance was better overall, I felt like. And it makes me think that maybe they should bring back some kind of pride rule scoring where you look at the whole fight, like, yeah, maybe someone had a slightly better first round than the other person, but then they just destroyed the next 2 rounds. Then the other few rounds were close. You should be able to like score the whole fight as opposed to just like who you thought won. And I feel like that's what those judges did because Cejudo had a really strong last round in that fight and ended up not getting in a couple judges' scorecards.
I see what you're saying about, the open scoring or the, full fight scoring. For me, I like round by round, but I think that what we're missing from the judges and everybody involved is like the criteria on which we are going to be judged on.
Yeah.
Because it seems like there's just no consistency. And there's this trend now of damage is scoring more than a whole round. And I mean, it could be inadvertent elbow or, something.
Headbutt sometimes.
Or a headbutt or something that is, that wasn't intentional, that caused so much damage, took somebody out of the element for a second. And it just completely washes away all the body of work that was done in that round.
Yeah.
So if, before fighters fight, we get to talk to the refs or the refs come and talk to us and they tell us, what they're looking for. They tell us how it's going to be. They tell us, what, do's and don'ts and, how they're, looking at things and how they're calling things. I think that we should be allowed to have a meeting with the judges, an open room, where we go, we sit down, we get to hear from the judges what they're specifically looking for, and we get to ask them questions. I don't know why there is such a disconnect between the judges and the athletes in that, in that respect. I just think that we're just so unclear and we never know what to look for and there's no consistency and it's extremely frustrating. And I know one of the judges, your favorite, I know he's no longer judging, but there are still other people.
Oh, Doug?
Yeah, your boy Doug. So there is a turnaround where, some people are starting to be, questioned or held accountable. However, there's just still no across the board understanding of what they're looking for.
Yeah, there needs to be constant reminders, like per fight card. All the judges get together, maybe with a few fighters or a few coaches present to represent each camp, each team that's performing on that card. And they can just explain to everyone, this is what we're looking for. And I think a lot of judges will be surprised what their peers say, because a lot of them have opposite ideas of what scores fights. Like, what was that guy's name who always did this?
Cecil People.
Yeah, Cecil Peoples. He was notorious for saying that leg kicks don't do anything. So leg kicks he doesn't count them in a fight. And how many times have we seen people get knocked out via leg kicks?
Yeah.
So it's a crazy thing to come into a sport and not recognize what does damage and what doesn't. And a lot of times people who, I think when everyone else sees what's going on in the fight, someone off the street can just be like, oh, that person took that fight away, and then the other person gets the scoring. I think it's when the judges are just kind of, I don't know, just confused as to what should be scoring and what shouldn't, because inevitably they're just looking at a fight. You're watching a fight. Who's winning this fight? Like sometimes it's just as simple as that, and it still goes to the wrong person every now and then. So, I definitely think the conversation aspect, just that communication, it would be so crazy if we didn't have those moments with the referees. We'd be so confused in there. Like, why are you talking to me?
Well, you remember, in the time where they were kind of trying to play with this universal rule versus the old school rule where, you can touch the ground and that's not a ground opponent because it's not weight bearing.
But don't play the game rule.
Yeah. They were trying to eliminate that, but you never knew if that state was going to honor that new rule. So if we didn't know that, You could get disqualified easily.
Exactly. Something you did in Vegas, you wouldn't be able to do in Texas. And it's like, why not? You know, I did this in my last fight and it was fine. And like, you know, all the controversy that does happen with refs when they make a bad call or they get in the middle of the fight on accident or something like that, there'd be so much more of that if they didn't have that conversation with us. So they're actually doing a really good job on that end, but they need to mirror that when it comes to judging.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I think that we're at a point with mixed martial arts where there's enough people just being fed up with it to where there is going to stimulate a change. I think we're going to start seeing that. I'm standing on that because something needs to change. This is taking, you know, money out of people's pockets. This is changing the course out of people, or this is changing the course of people's careers and their livelihood.
Yeah.
There needs to be something done. And we keep talking about it. I'm not seeing action. I don't know how that action is going to happen, but I feel like if we keep talking about it and we keep, you know, making our points and, you know, creating a conversation that will, you know, hopefully stimulate change.
Yeah. Well, I heard we might see some other judges on the chopping block. Just rumors, but hopefully that happens and we start getting rid of those. Because I do feel like when something weird happens, they're in cahoots with each other. So getting rid of Douglas Crosby, I feel like that's like the mafia head. But then you're going to have all these other cronies trying to take its place. So we got to get them all.
I will say, I noticed something when we were at Cage Warriors, you know, a few weeks ago, and you were calling the fights, and I got to be, you know, kind of cage side to watch the fights, and it was a great show. And I saw that, you know, Chris Lieben, former, you know, UFC contender, has been a judge, and I thought that was really great. I like the idea of former fighters becoming judges, and the thing that I loved the most was he had somebody that was on the card, and he renounced himself. And he stepped away, he walked away, and he was not in the judging seat for that fight. Because, I mean, we're human. It's going to be really, really hard to remain unbiased. So I thought that was really impressive. And I love that idea. I love the idea of just being held accountable or holding yourself accountable.
Yeah, but how many people are going to do that?
No, not many. It's really challenging.
The thing is, with former fighters, a lot of times you'll have biases that aren't immediately clear, like a friend of a friend's or this guy's girlfriend's best friend training partner is like the person that's fighting. No one has to make that connection. You don't have to excuse yourself, but you know, if you care about that person and you want to see them win no matter what, then risk the legitimacy of the sport. In order to do that, you can definitely do it and get away with it. So that's what I feel like is happening with some of these judges who are corrupt, is like they have ties with certain gyms or with certain coaches or just came up in the same field. A lot of the judges do have martial arts backgrounds or have dabbled a little bit. And so they do have these biases that come across in a lot of the fights. Like for whatever reason, Douglas Crosby had a vendetta against all the guys from Aljo's gym. So it was like this thing where he kept just being a shithead whenever one of those guys fought. And if it's happening on a lower level, no one's going to know and no one's going to care enough to do anything about it. The fighter will know, the coaches will know, but how do you actually do something about it? So that's also the kind of problem with that. But I do think that it's easier to draw those connections when it's a visible fighter, when it's somebody that you recognize, because you can go look at their Instagram, you can go look at, you know, whoever they've trained in history. And it's a lot easier to like snuff out those controversies before it becomes like a consistent thing. And the problem with these judges is that they're very much anonymous. So if I wanted to, I don't know, if I wanted to out Chris Lee for a bad call he made, I don't know what he looks like.
Yeah.
I could assume he's Asian, but he's probably not. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different kind of Lees out there these days. So it's like, there's no way of telling who these judges are, what connections they have, unless you know them personally. And like, no one's gonna snitch on him, you know. So I do think that would help. And that argument that people make about, oh well, the fighters are gonna have friends in there too. At least people know who they are, so you can do your homework, get your receipts if you feel like something fishy is going on, and then they don't have a job anymore. So yeah. Look at us solving MMA problems. They need to put us on a board somewhere.
I think we should, come up with a business plan and bring it to them.
Plan
Make them an offer they can't refuse.
Yeah, we get Doug Crosby with us. Come and show up with a suitcase and a cigar. A Tommy gun.
Now that I'm in real estate, I do have some pantsuits, so
hey,
I'm ready to go.
There you go.
Ready
there you go. Dude, so we should probably talk about my fight a little bit. It happened a couple weeks after the Aljo Cejudo fight, and I actually found out because it was supposed to be the week after. We were supposed to be on the main card of the Charlotte card, and I got a call that night from Mick Maynard, and he's like, "You up?" Well, I got a text, and I was like, "Meg, what are you?"
It's so late.
I mean, yes, but so he calls me and he's like, "Hey, I guess because Nunes was supposed to fight on the Apex show that I ended up headlining, they couldn't find a replacement. They couldn't find like a big fight to replace for that and make the main event. So he called me up out of the blue and was like, hey, just wanted to know if you'd be down to main event in the Apex show in another week. So not next week, but the week after." And I'm like, yeah, like it's a dope opportunity. I was a little sad that I didn't get to fight in front of fans because it is like such a kind of feeling when you walk out and you just hear, it's just like 10 people going, "Let's go." Most of my fans are like on the production side, they're holding the cameras, so they couldn't shout too hard for me. But it was a great opportunity, and I said yes, and Durna said yes, and that was a go. So the week was a pretty chill week. It was like a good fight camp, a good fight week and everything. The weight cut was too easy. But then the fight just like kind of, and the good thing is I got a lot of good feedback from the fight. Like a lot of people were really impressed with my toughness, were really impressed with like my survivability on the ground. But, it's always like, as a fighter, it always feels a little backhanded. Like I know what I could have done and I know what I wanted to do. And what happened was like, okay, worst case scenario for me in my head. And it just sucks because it's one of those things where like you prepare for a certain fight and then when it goes off script, you keep trying to go back to the game plan and it just didn't feel like it was coming through. And I don't know. It's like one of those fights where it shows you that MMA is so chaotic that you really have to be adaptable because you don't know what's going to happen in there. And that was always in the back of my head, like, oh yeah, maybe she'll throw something really hard. She looks like she throws really hard, so something could connect, something could happen, and then what? But really, where I felt like I would win, it was the opposite. Like I felt like I was winning positions that I shouldn't have won. And I felt like I was losing positions I shouldn't have lost. And it was really hard for me to get out of that mode, especially after the reset, after I go back to the corner and come out, is like I couldn't realize where the good things are happening. So it was a good learning experience just to force me to just be in the moment a little more and not try to force what isn't there. So yeah, that was the fight. But yeah.
No, it's in those moments of, it's if you don't win, you learn. And I think that that's like a really powerful way to be and way to look at fighting, or like really anything in life. You know, we don't always get the best feedback or knowledge from wins because, you know, maybe we got away with things. So I think it's really great feedback from, you know, those learning experiences. And it's always an opportunity to learn and grow and make yourself better. And, you know, you got to appreciate what you did well, too.
I know. I've had too many learning experiences. I'm over it.
Me too.
I don't want to learn anymore.
No, I hear that. But it's really important just to, you know, appreciate the small victories, even if it's hard to. I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah. So at least we got fight tonight.
Yeah.
At least it was a good fight. It was entertaining. That's always the goal when it comes to keeping your job, is being entertaining.
Yeah.
And it was that. So, yeah, I'll live to fight again.
It's okay. There will be others.
Yeah. So after that shit show, no. After that barn burner of a fight, we finally got to see Amanda Nunes get in there against Irene Aldana, and man,
ooh,
she pieced her up. It was just really strategic. And that was like the most impressive part of it. There was no chaos. Like when I think back to Nunes fighting Chris Cyborg, there was a lot of chaos in that exchange, and then Nunes came out on top, and I was like, oh man, that was awesome. But in this fight, it was just strategy. Every time Aldana started to adjust to something that Nunes was doing, she started picking on something else. And then she started to adjust to that, she'd pick on something else. She started with like stab kicks, then she started push kick in the knee, then she hit her with that jab that she likes to do, that really stiff jab, then started working the 1-2. It was just like every minute she was doing something strategically different, and it really kept Aldana just kind of flat and second guessing herself. And I thought that was a really impressive way to close out your career. Like, were you surprised?
No, I love Irene Aldana. I think that, but she's a very straightforward fighter. Like she's very good at what she does. But I feel like she's one of those fighters where if you look at her body of work, you can see a lot of tendencies. And so I think that the most impressive thing was how, like you were saying, how Amanda Nunes just really saw, like just read everything that she was doing.
Yeah.
She took every opportunity and capitalized off of it. And Irene Aldana, she's such a warrior. She's such a gamer. My hat's off to her. Yeah. But it's just, I think that, you know, we've just seen this progression of Amanda Nunes, and she's just like really reached the pinnacle of her, you know, technical prowess. Like she's really impressive. And to end her career on that note, on her terms, with a win like that, I feel like that's every fighter's dream, really.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, part of me feels like she's not done.
Maybe not.
Did you hear her post-fight presser?
Not the presser. I just listened to the post-fight in Cage.
Okay, so I turned it off because
Why did you turn it off?
I
get it.
You know how Amanda's post-fight, like, in the Cage interviews can be. It'll be 20 minutes later and she's still going. Oh, and I want to thank the man at the coffee shop. He made me a very good espresso. It was very good. I'd also like to thank the woman who waited on me. Like, she thanks everyone. So it's really sweet.
It's very sweet and endearing.
But if you're not waiting to get thanked, then you're probably going to leave.
I don't need to be here for this.
Remember when I handed you your gloves?
Remember when I saw you at the airport?
Yeah. I gave you a high five and I said, good luck, champ. Where's my thanks? Where is my thanks? So I didn't watch that, but then later I saw on the post-fight presser that she was like, everyone who fights after me for the belt, it's going to be a paper belt. It's going to be a fake belt. I have the real belt. So I feel like she's not done. Like to feel the need to say that as opposed to just handing it off, letting the children go off and have their own, you know, era of who's going to be next champion. She's kind of saying, y'all ain't shit.
Well, I mean, you didn't beat her, so yeah, technically, I do get it.
Yeah, but
I do get it. I mean, she can say that.
I just think it's funny, and it makes me think that if someone comes along that's a little spicy, that's a little exciting, that get people saying, what if this fighter went up against Amanda Nunes? She might give her trouble. I think that they'd be able to bait her back in.
Maybe.
Because it's like the Khabib thing. When he left, every person who came after, they're like, what if this guy fought Khabib? What if Charles Oliveira fought Khabib? Like, that was like a big thing that the media kept pressing, that even Dana would bring up, like, man, I wonder what would happen. That would be a great matchup. So I do feel like if there's someone who comes out who just impresses, and I don't think we've seen her yet, but if someone comes through, makes their way through all the contenders that Nunes was also able to beat up, then maybe that'll be enough to just, like, you know, dangle the T-bone in front of the lion and, hey, come and get it. You got another money bag to collect.
I mean, maybe if she made some like really bad investments and, you know, didn't, you know, just started doing like the typical like pro athlete thing and, you know, just spending too much money too fast. I mean, we could see it happen. Hopefully, you know, I think from what I heard in her post-fight speech, you know, she's set up for success. So I hope that she gets to live out, you know, her retirement happy and healthy and wealthy and all that stuff. And I hope that, you know, she doesn't have to come back. If she does come back, it's, you know, because, you know, there's
ego.
Yes.
I prefer ego being the thing that brings them back as opposed to financial issues.
Because that happens a lot.
It does. It does. It's a
scary thing.
Like, I don't think she's gonna go the Connor route either, where she might.
Oh my God, Connor's on my list of things to talk about right now.
She's gonna need money for lawyers.
This guy.
Oh man,
fucking Connor.
Oof.
Come on, man.
He just can't stop fucking up.
It's like,
is he in the testing pool yet?
No. Now look at him. No. Disclaimer: I don't know if, you know, he's.
Last time I checked, he wasn't, and that was last week.
That was like last week.
Yeah.
That was last week. So yeah, he just. It's like one of those things where. I've said this before. I don't know if I've said it in one of our podcasts, but I've said it before. Like, when bad behavior is constantly rewarded, like, why would you behave any differently? And so
it's
our
like
boy
dog
Connor,
training.
I know,
dude.
I know. You put you up on the couch one time.
Yeah.
You pet Estrella one time while you're on the toilet, and now she comes in every single time and wants to get pet.
Every time you're on the toilet. That's her cue. Oh, it's pet time.
Pet time.
Oh, it's time for pets. Connor's like, no one's talking about me, and I need a fight. I know. I'll do a lot of coke and see what happens.
And do stupid shit.
See what happens. It'll make the news, and then people want to see me fight again.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I honestly, like, he could be successful not fighting.
Yeah.
But I do worry about all of his law bills. I hope that, you know, Proper 12.
Yeah.
Proper 12. I hope it's doing really well. I hope he's invested in real estate. Call me. I'm just kidding.
Do you do yachts? Careful, you might get thrown off.
Oh.
Yo, it's story after story is so bad.
But I mean, to be fair, and this is not being on his side or like helping him out or anything, but seriously, when people put themselves in those situations, like, you leave yourself open to a lot of trouble, whether you're causing that trouble or somebody's trying to capitalize off of, you know, whatever it is. It's hard, man.
Some people are magnets, trouble magnets, and they don't know why.
So I'm listening to this audiobook, and you talk about this upper limit problem that a lot of people have. And so it talks about, anybody and everybody, they have an upper limit meter for how much, you know, wealth, how much fame, how much love, how much success, like all of these things. So it's like he's hitting it, and he just keeps hitting it, and then it's going to take him down a notch. So he can only ever get up to like that level, which is a huge level of success. But it's like he can't help himself. He keeps doing things to kind of self-sabotage.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't want to break through.
Yeah, but it's subconscious.
Or his body isn't, or his whatever he's made up of isn't allowing him to break through.
Yes, exactly.
It's interesting.
Yes.
I feel like I might have that problem too.
It's a great book. We all do.
Yeah. It's like you're comfortable with a certain amount of success, and then once you reach that peak where you can go a little higher, you start to freak out.
Yeah.
And like new problems start to arise that you haven't had to deal with before. And then when you get back lower, it's like, okay,
it's kind of a comfort zone.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Especially because you want that higher level of achievement, but something's stopping you from it. Is that fear of change, or that fear
it's
of
a self-worth conversation. It could be like any number of things, but it is real, and you see it. And I think with Connor, we're seeing that. But then
it took a while because he's pretty up there.
No, he's pretty up there. But they talk about one example they use is there was a successful businessman, and he actually won the lottery. And I mean, he was already a paper millionaire. Like on paper, he was already very wealthy. And then he won the lotto, and within a handful of years, he had everybody suing him. He had made bad investments. People stole his money. People swindled him. And then it was all gone. And he was left like right back where he was, which wasn't a bad spot. But it's like all this stuff just started happening, and it's like self-perpetuated.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I'm listening to it again because the first time it kind of blew my mind, but I didn't get it. So I'm listening to it again. I'll probably listen to it a few more times.
Hey, there you go.
But everybody has these limits.
Does it explain how to get past that, or is it just acknowledging that this
No,
is
it does. Thing? The first step is acknowledgement, but there's, other books that you can read to, like workbums and stuff like that you can go through. I'll send it to you.
Interesting.
But it's a good one. I love self-improvement books.
Yeah. Humans are just fucking programs. Like we're all working off of the same makeup, and it's so crazy how similar we all are. Like we're all dealing with the same shit, just in different ways.
Yeah.
And it really freaks you out when you start to realize those patterns and realize that you're no more unique than the next person.
Special.
Like you're unique, but not really.
Yeah, but it is on to counter that. It also is kind of comforting.
Exactly.
To know that other people are dealing with these things, and there is a way, through it.
Yeah.
It's not comfortable. It's not easy. It'll take some time, but it is, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're not alone. This isn't, an isolated kind of incident. This isn't, anything that we've never seen or heard before. Mm-hmm. Like it's possible to break through.
There's nothing worse than like going to a doctor for something and they're like, I don't know what that is. See
Never
how it is in
before.
2 weeks. Yeah, exactly. What is that? Well, come back in 2 weeks and we'll see if it got any worse. And you're just like,
what? Worse?
I'm a mutant. I'm different. No one can cure me. But when you hear that people are going through the same thing, then you feel this camaraderie. Like you suddenly,
there's hope.
Yeah, you're suddenly amongst peers, and you're not freaking out about the fact that you're just doomed.
Absolutely, because it feels
just
like that
defective.
Sometimes. It feels like that sometimes. Oh, I'm so alone.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, poor Connor. So, should we explain what happened with Connor recently?
Yeah, which one? I mean,
so the last one, because I feel like this is the last one since our last show. The last one happened this week, and he is being charged for assaulting a girl in the bathroom at the, what is it? I don't know anything about basketball, the NBA final whatever match.
Maybe it was in a
thing.
Yeah, maybe it was in a suite or somewhere.
Yeah, it was like a VIP section of like this big NBA game, and he took her into the VIP bathroom. They let her cut line, and so she goes to cut line with Conor McGregor. And then when she's in there, she said he assaulted him. Unfortunately, there's no video or proof of that happening or proof of her not consenting or anything like that. So what do Conor fans do? They believe Conor.
Of course.
And it's so sad. But at the same time, you know, there are women who go out there and they try to make a quick buck off of a celebrity putting themselves in a dumb situation. So it's really frustrating. As a woman, it is really frustrating to see something like this happen and just see everyone immediately take Conor's side. Like, it's really frustrating because this is why no one else does it. This is why anyone who might have been assaulted in the past against someone who's very famous or even just very charismatic, like it could just be like the popular guy at school, you know? The woman doesn't come forward because she doesn't think anyone's going to believe him. Mm-hmm. Thinks you're just trying to, like, you're just jealous of what the guy has and you're trying to get a piece of it. So it always frustrates me with that. And I do have faith in my MMA brothers. I feel like it's not always their fault when shit like this happens, but you just got to stay silent and let the pieces fall where they are. You know, you don't have to just go, immediately, Conor's like in the clear. Like, he's not with that girl because she's fat. You know, like,
yeah,
there's like a lot of nasty comments online that just kind of show the colors of the fans. And, you know, it doesn't help or hurt Conor's side at all legally, but in my eyes it just makes me kind of sad.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that, I don't know, it's great for the sport and bad for the sport. It's great for, you know, business and bad for business because there's just so many opportunities for people to speak on things that, you know, they have no business speaking on.
Yeah.
And
how do you think Jake Gyllenhaal felt when he saw that? Our friend Jake.
Your friend Jake. Yeah. I missed him.
Oh, next time.
Damn it, stupid fighter meeting.
Oh, man. They should let you, like, come out and peek at it.
I know.
That was rude.
It was.
Yeah. I can't wait for that movie to come out, though. The Roadhouse movie they filmed while Jess was fighting on her card. When was that? Was that March?
Early March.
Yeah, in March. And they filmed a fight, too. Did you know that?
Yeah.
That was so crazy. They filmed a fight during your fight night, but they also filmed weigh-ins during your weigh-in day. And Jess didn't get to see any of it because she was fighting and because she was in her fighter meeting waiting for Dana. Dana wasn't even there.
He didn't even show up.
He was watching it. He was in the movie.
I know. He didn't even show up. We were waiting for him. And then this has happened so many times that I'm, you know, back at the fighter meeting waiting for Dana. All of a sudden, Sean Shelby comes walking in and he's like, all right, guys, Dana's not coming. But you've all heard this before. If you haven't, don't cuss on TV. You will be fined. People still cuss on TV.
Oh, yeah.
Don't jump over the cage. You will be fined. People jump over the cage.
I don't think they're fined. I don't know. I haven't talked to them, but
I don't know. I mean, I can't get out there, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
And then he, you know, tells you what bonuses are going to be on the table.
And it's always the same.
4. Then he walks out.
Yeah. Shelby does the best ones because they're short and sweet and fast.
Less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But we wait in there for, 30 sometimes.
You miss movie shoots.
Miss movie magic happening.
Man, I had time
I could have been an extra.
Right? I had time to go to craft services, order an omelet, come back, watch the 3rd or 4th take. It was a long time.
God. You just hope that you're not sitting in a weird, awkward position close to your opponent and having to be having this forced eye contact.
Oh,
At least you're rehydrated though,
Yeah, you're not as angry. I'm always awkward though. I'm always super awkward. I'm always just looking kind of past them and then I make eye contact and I look if they're looking back. But if they aren't looking back, then I'm kind of staring at them. And I'm looking them up and down, and then they see me looking, and I'm like, I don't know. Sometimes I want to test the eye contact thing, and sometimes I'm just like, look. I guess it depends on the run up or the relationship or whatever.
Yeah,
how many times have I seen them before I had to fight them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always like the awkward first day of school or something like that.
It's super awkward. I hate it.
Really is.
I really hate it. So after that, we just had last night's card, right?
Yeah. So we had Bellator this weekend, and then we had UFC 75. We
Nice.
had my former tough coach, Sergio Pettis, probably have like the best fight of his career.
Yeah.
He went up against Patricio Pitbull.
Yeah.
And I mean, Patricio went down to 135 to challenge for this belt. He wanted to be a triple champ.
He's
which
insane.
I mean, he's so impressive. Like this guy has been fighting since, I don't know, before I started. Like he has such longevity. He's been so impressive. He's been, a champion for a long time. And he went down and challenged Sergio. And Sergio was coming off of, a long layoff because of a knee injury. And he fought so impressively. I mean, just everything he did, he was just shutting down Pitbull's offense and Pitbull had a few, good moments of explosiveness, which, he's known for. But Sergio just looks so sharp. He just looks so in the zone, just so keyed in and focused. And I was really happy for him. He's just like the nicest guy. I always loved him on The Ultimate Fighter. Just such a sweet, like old soul. And I'm just so happy for him.
Dude, that what was it? Is it a spinning back kick or a wheel kick or whatever?
It's a wheel kick.
It's a wheel kick. Whatever it was. But there's also the rolling thunder, which I mix up with wheel kick sometimes. But dude, that shit was so impressive. And I love when they showed Anthony on the sidelines when he landed it. He just like jumped up. I was like, yeah, boy. Look at his lips so hard. It was so
Leave
good.
him alone.
It was so good.
Going in his silky Gucci getup.
Right?
Sunglasses on inside. You do you, Pettis.
Yeah, you
little superstar.
Your little slight UV protection because it's an indoor sunglass. Dude, it was such an impressive performance. And then coming off of his fight with Horiguchi, right? That fight was one of those fights where he was just getting beat up the entire time and got one of those like movie speeches in the corner in between the 4th and 5th round. It just came out and nailed him with that spinning back fist. And dude, like to see him go from that performance to this one, I think a lot of guys, specifically the Patchy Mix kid who just won the tournament in Bellator, I think a lot of contenders were looking at Sergio as an easy matchup. They're like, hey, Horiguchi like laid out the game plan. I just have to not get hit with that spinning back fist and I'm good. But Sergio showed that no, there's way more to me than that fight. Like this fight was technical. It was there was a lot of pressure. He had power. He just showed that he's still really dangerous and still like he was just having an off day that night and still managed to get the win. So even on his worst day, he could fuck you up. And today was one of his best. So I was really impressed with that performance. That was a good one.
It was awesome.
Yeah, go Sergio.
We had some weird stuff happen at UFC 75.
Oh
the
yeah,
Apex 75.
I heard.
There were just there were some weird things. I
was playing Diablo. I just have to be upfront with our Two Straws fans. I was playing Diablo during UFC 75. I just watched Vittori versus Canyoneer, and it was a fucking banger. So I got off with not having to see all the controversy and everything because Diablo was pretty lit. But yes, do tell me about. I did hear about like the elbow stuff and the headbutt thing.
Yeah. So on sorry, I have to cite my notes really quick.
The professional here.
Yes. So Carlos Hernandez had a win over Dennis Bonder, and it ended up being a technical decision, not a KO. So
Oh.
You saw this.
Maybe we should save the next part of this conversation for our exclusive 15. It's been a while, I forgot to cut you cheap motherfuckers off.
Bye.
So if you want to hear about UFC 75, go to Fight Pass and
Get that
the rest